Good evening! How can it ever be too much hype? Congratulations, Ian, on being truly first, because I went live and you redeemed first, like, instantly. So you must have been waiting. You must have been waiting there with your finger, with your mouse over the channel point redemption. There's no way you could have been that fast otherwise. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Oh yes, privacy first. Privacy first. Very good point, Dr. Dynamite. I will not introduce myself. GDPR has been called. We want to be as safe as possible. You did some recursion, Ian. Oh my gosh, people. I broke a lot of things today. Going to make this stream a lot more difficult. But entertaining, because you like when I break things, don't you? Let's drop! While we're waiting for people to gather in, we definitely have a lot of people coming in today. Should be a good busy stream. Welcome in White Panther, Ian. Welcome in Dr. Dynamite, Panhorn. Welcome in, my friend, to you. Welcome in, TD. Look at all these famous people in my chat. Isn't that amazing? And what a coincidence indeed, Panther. It is snowing today, and we're talking about Snowplow. Hello, Yost. Speaking of snow, where's your ice cream, Yost? Have you got an ice cream?
We're going outside!
Maybe. We could go outside to gather some snow. Maddie snowshoes indeed, Steffi. Matty Snowshoes. Yes, so welcome to yet another Monday evening on Twitch. Twitch is not garbage, I would say. I think Twitch is cool. Let's not get into that now. There's plenty of time to talk about Twitch at some other point in time. Today we are talking about plowing snow. Literal snowplow stream, let's go! I don't know, IRL snowplow stream could be kind of funny. Why not? I'd have to figure out how to tether my GoPro to my phone and stuff like this. I don't know how to do that right now. No idea. I really have no idea. Yost is slicing choy. Ooh, what's that going into, Yost? I like pak choy. It's quite delicious. Fiona also likes pak choy. Did you know that? Bunnies also eat pak choy. Nimi B! Thank you very much for the... How many bits is that? 10. They're all individually 1. I had to look somewhere else to see how many that was. Thank you very much for the bits. Very appreciated. Denver, hello! Welcome in as well to you. Obligatory shoutouts. We'll get them out of the way. Panther. Thank you very much, Panther, for joining us today. Thank you, TD, for joining us today. Who else was in here? Dino? Dr. Dynamite? Someone call for the doctor? Oh, Chad, I can smell the hype. Thank you, Ian, for the 6 bits. Let's drop again while we're waiting. A completely random dish of burger, pak choy and rice, which I like to call I need to make this food, or, oops, I missed the message, or it will go bad and I didn't have lunch. Ah! Drop the beats, Irish beats! Welcome in as well, my friend. Wow, that is a lot of people. Oh, Copper Beard, that is a very good landing. Ian, oh, coming in. Oh, so close. People trying to take the top spot. What about Surly? Ooh, very close. Hello, Surly Dev. Welcome in, my friend. How has everyone's start to the week been? Finite, you are also here. Big shout out to Finite, author of Tau, a amazing software for streamers. If you're considering using any of Twitch's APIs, then you should definitely check out the legendary Tau on GitHub. Okay, so we got a lot of stuff out of the way in like 8 minutes. That's a record. That's very good. Normally it takes us like 20 minutes to get started, but we have a lot to do today. A lot. Does anybody know what we're doing today? Also, it's me, Matty Two Shoes. Surprise! I was being GDPR conformed before. Hey, Jay Walter, welcome in. Jay Walter, also a fellow member of the Claw. It is Maddie indeed. Surprise! None of you knew. My identity was perfectly concealed with these perfect shades. Maddie, new views. 12-hour snowflake. No, snowplow. I agree that the name could be confusing. It's true. I even have merch. How cool is that? You know what? I got this merch 3 years ago. That's the best part about it, is that they didn't send me this merch just for this stream. I've had this merch 3 years ago. Dino, are you saying you want the shirt off my back? Merch giveaway would literally mean you want the shirt off my back, because I only have one. Color contrast on the t-shirt doesn't pass accessibility. Oh, burn, Panther! What is it, like 4.1? 3.5? Can someone check accessibility on my shirt? Hold on. Someone screenshot it? Okay, there was enough time. Now someone can check the accessibility using Khan or any of the other tools by opening it in your browser and getting Khan to check it. Barely 10 minutes and White Panther in with the judge. Hey, accessibility is important. I did spend quite a lot of time on Friday on my personal website doing accessibility fixes because, yeah, it is important. So, Savage SVG indeed. It's possibly my favorite file name ever. So some people guessed that we were going to go outside. Although it's called Snowplow, we're actually not going outside. So I'm curious to hear other
garbage
guesses. Other garbage guesses. It was not outside, and it's not garbage. Maybe there's a clue in the title.
Disappointed!
I think I am getting a text message.
Well, did you text me something, Dino? Ian is disappointed that we're not going outside. Denver, it is not drugs. And Pretzel Rocks' the song title got held for moderation, which I thought was quite funny. Disney reruns, that would be basically speed ban on Twitch due to DMCA, I believe. I texted you Undying Love. Oh no! Now I have to check if I got a text from Dino. Maybe. I mean, lots of love and support in our Discord, that's for sure. Thank you everyone who was pumping me up before the stream in Discord. If you want to join our Discord community, The Claw, please do so. It's free. Lots of cool people in there, like most of the people in this chat right now, I think are all in our Discord, with maybe one or two small exceptions. Very cool place to be. So, I'm willing to hear other guesses of what people think we're doing today. No one has still actually guessed the right answer, which is pretty funny. Considering it's in the title, maybe someone could come up with the right answer. We can't move on until at least one person knows what we're doing, excluding me. Finite says, clearing off the driveway with a snowplow. Steffi, nah. I heard I'm there, so I'd think twice. Ooh, savage. Snowplow, is this an analytics thing? Ah, we're getting warmer, even though it's snowing outside. Canhorn, deep customer understanding begins with high quality behavioral data. That does sound like a quote, doesn't it? That sounds like a massive quote.
Put my faith in data. Information. Ones and zeros never lie.
Ooh, Irish Beats, thank you for the sub. And Steffi is right. Data does not lie. Ones and zeros never lie. So what are we doing today? We are collecting ones and zeros. And we're doing it in a fun way. More fun than normal. More fun than just opening up a box of data like we do sometimes. Bitflip? I don't have a command for that, but that's actually a very fun idea for a command, Denver. You just reminded me, that's actually a very cool idea for a command. I'm gonna note this one down. Hey Dino, thank you for the subscription, my friend. 4 months, Irish Beat, 2 months. Wow, this is really... I'm very flattered at the support, thank you. As you know, there's no need to subscribe here other than to get ad-free viewing, which is, you know, it is what it is. You get 30 seconds every hour. That's what it is. But Bitflip, that is a great chance to make a command. I'm going to write that one down because I think I have a cool idea of what that could actually do. That could do some very interesting things to the stream. I've chosen this hype music because I'm very hyped to show you what I'm showing you today. And yes, this stream is sponsored by Snowplow, in case that wasn't already obvious. by the hashtag sponsored in the title. Flip all the bits on the outgoing stream. I think that would collapse stuff, Denver. I don't think Twitch would accept that. But there's other interesting things that we could do by flipping bits. Maybe not as literally as flipping them, but the general idea of flippage. You need some hexagons. A finite's hexagon transfers slash overlays, transitions. I'm not even sure what they really are, actually, what you would call them. I guess transitions and overlays, yeah, are very impressive. So if you're not following Finite, you should definitely go check out Finite's channel. Flippage, yeah, bit flippage. So we are going to do actual analytics stuff today. I know for the past few weeks I've been doing a lot of developer work in preparation for this massive Twitch project that I'm trying to tackle, which, if you haven't heard, is around analytics, of course. So my idea for Twitch is to build a real-time analytics engine for your stream. The stream has shat itself for me. Oh dear, Denver. F indeed. F indeed. Just reboot. Reboot. You're going to post some videos on the Discord later. You've taken it to the next level. Ooh, that sounds very cool. That sounds very cool. It was already very impressive what I was seeing the other day with the hexagon stuff. So yes, back to sort of more analytics things, stuff that I've been doing day to day. I've actually been working with Snowplow for the last 2 months, which is why it's so exciting for me today to share Snowplow with all of you, because I can't share my work stuff with you. You know, that's just one of the restrictions that I have as being a content creator in the analytics world. Means there are like restrictions around what kind of stuff I'm allowed to share when I work at a company and stuff. So that is very unfortunate. I would love to show you like all the kinds of data that we've collected with Snowplow, but I'm sure all of you are asking like, what is Snowplow, right? What is Snowplow analytics in the first place? Well, there's a very simple answer to that question. Snowplow is an owned analytics platform. And I'm going to talk about owned. And no, we will not be doing a 20 TB data leak. Definitely not. So let me show you. So this is Snowplow's website. You can type exclamation mark SP if you want to get the link to Snowplow. But basically, everyone knows what behavioral data is, right? When we're like clicking stuff on a website, you know, when I'm opening these menus and things like that, stuff is being captured in the background. Oh, we have a hype train. Paolo, you are too nice. You are too kind, Paolo. Paolo, I hope you're staying cool with your new fan. The Claw community did a nice little community present to Paolo and gifted him a fan, because Paolo was suffering in the extreme heat, and we decided to chip in and buy him a fan, which I thought was so nice. It was just so great that everybody just decided to chip in. It was just a nice thing. Irish, 1 megabyte data leak, why Jack really left Twitter? I haven't been following because I don't even really use Twitter, to be honest. I have a Twitter account, but I don't really use Twitter. So yes, that's great. We're on a hype train. I'm very surprised. I'm very surprised. I'm pleased, of course. I'm very pleased with it. All the support is great. And so Snowplow is really cool. Basically, you know, everyone is kind of familiar with this behavioral analytics stuff, where, you know, where you click stuff and then clicking things or scrolling or doing stuff, basically data goes somewhere. Oh gosh, Dino. Thank you very much for the 2 gifted subs, and welcome Sad Salami Rose and Nimi B, 2 very, very good people to receive a gifted sub. That is, couldn't have planned it better. Could not have planned it better than that. Literally the best possible choice. Also, this music is fire. I'm loving the tracks today. These are just... So, I got stuck. I got stuck on explaining behavioral data. So behavioral data is people interacting with applications or web apps or websites. When you interact with a website, there's a lot of data capturing happening in the background. And the reason that we do that is to understand how to make the website better. But in a lot of cases, we have like web products, you know, like Google Drive or Trello or whatever, where you have a subscription to it, even something like Twitch, right? And we use that data to make that product better. And that's obviously very complicated. It's more than just analyzing like who opens what menu. It's a lot deeper than that. And so Snowplow, a little too much background music. Oh, I can lower it a little if it's a bit high. I can definitely take it down a couple of percentage points. It is quite a loud track. Yeah. So basically, we want to capture high quality data, and there's tons of tools that allow us to do that. But most of those tools, not all of them, most of those tools are A, not open source, and B, we don't own the data process. So this is the thing, is that with Snowplow, let me see if I can find a... Let me see if I can find a good... I just want to find one of those visuals. I'm not sure where it is. Because essentially... Essentially, the way that Snowplow differs from all the others is that you own the infrastructure that it sits on and the entire processing of the data. It's never in anyone else's possession, which as a company is really important. And I think even as a freelancer, or you know, if you're doing your own thing solo, I think that's even more important, that you're not giving up control. And that's why Snowplow is really cool, and it is open source. So of course you can run it yourself as well at cost without paying licensing fees to anyone else. So what this pop-up should not come up every page. I guess that should be adjusted. So if I go to another page and oh yeah, it's passing the tab bar thing. Okay, so that needs to be changed. So if anyone from Snowplow is watching, you should definitely adjust the rule for this exit pop-up. Because every page I go to, if I leave the page, yeah, it's asking me to book a demo, which I think is very aggressive. Seeing as I'm already going to do this on stream. Twitch app bug and you're getting 2 audio streams. Well, I turned it down a little bit anyway, it's okay. Yoast, don't worry about it. And Stream Elements, you are correct. I am very proud to be on the Claw stream team. So essentially, Snowplow allows you to own everything, the entire cycle, from A to Z, which is really cool, and you can run it yourself. But of course, because you run everything yourself, it makes the setup quite tricky. You know, this isn't a Google Analytics where you just install the JavaScript snippet and, you know, it just runs. There's a lot more configuration work to do. So Snowplow did something really cool, and they made a trial, a free trial, 14 days, I believe. And during those 14 days, you can collect and model that data for whatever platform you want, and they host everything for you. All the settings are completed. Thank you everybody for the level 2 hype train. I'm very surprised that we got a hype train from this. It's yeah, that's really really generous. Really generous. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. and everyone is getting these emotes now. Turtles! Oh my gosh, that's so cool. New turtles. I'm so happy I got a turtle now. That's great. Own everything. Can I own you? No, you cannot own me. I didn't say own people. I said own the data process. Everything from collection to processing to modeling and storage and visualization and whatever, however you want to do it. So you can try for free. There's no restriction. Anybody can go here and sign up and try this out for free. That emote looks like a green Squirtle. Yeah, kind of, right? Does look like a green Squirtle. So this is what I'm doing today, is I'm trying this out on my personal website.
Garbage.
I don't think it's garbage. I do not think it's garbage. Oh no. Oh no. I'm not prepared for this. No. Oh, why today, Steffi? Why today? And apparently I'm going to be doing this in a bunny suit as well. But I will need a moment to change. I will need a moment to change, of course. But first I'd like to share with you. Yoast also has 27,000. I'm not running any more predictions because all of you have too many points. You have too many points. So I'd like to share with you first. I effed up really bad. Before I get started with the stream, I want to share with you this story. Because I made a boo-boo. A very big one. If you try to go to my website right now, maddie2.shoes, you're going to be met for this with error name not resolved. And that's not good. And it's not good, and actually it's just very poor timing, okay? On my part. Also on my hosting provider or DNS registrar provider's part. But essentially, I transferred my domain last week from one registrar to another. And it seems that somewhere between 2 in the afternoon today, when I did a deployment, when it was still working just fine, and now, which is 6 hours later, 7, the domain seems to have gone into transfer, but has not yet arrived at my new registrar for whatever reason. And every documentation I've read says that the name servers should stay during the transfer process, but that's obviously not the case because I cannot access my website. And probably none of you can either, I guess. So, yeah, I made a bit of a boo-boo. Fortunately, I saved my butt. Dino says, the garbage was for owning you, not the product. I have stream delay. Would just like to clarify that. Okay, Dino, thank you for clarifying that. And yeah, if you can't own me, that's garbage for you. It's good for me, though. So fortunately, I saved my butt by hosting my site on Netlify, because it means that I have a Netlify domain that I can use. Do a local etc hosts override. Unless Snowplow needs callbacks. I don't follow how the etc hosts override can call the name server. That's what it's not a big deal. It's not optimal. And I assume at some point, maybe even during the stream, it might even get fixed. Maybe. Oh, the problem's already solved. There's no command for sponsored, Ian. there's no command for sponsored. So before I go get changed, because I have to get changed into the bunny suit, would anyone like to run a prediction of where Fiona's going to be, so that you can earn yet more channel points? Because I think... Oh, I have to run the ad now, Twitch says. Give me 1 sec. There's going to be a 30-second ad for those of you who are not subscribed right now. I'm sorry. As you know. So if anyone would like me to run the prediction, say so. We can also run it later. I'll only run it once per stream anyway. So I think we could probably just run it later. And I'll just do be right back now and get changed. And when this ad is over, it's like 30-second ad. Toilet for 0 points. Yes, Jay Walter, I know that you cannot actually gamble because of the laws. But yes, I will be right back. In the meantime, you can of course enjoy Fiona wherever she may be. You can guess in chat to see if you're right. And I will go get changed and I will be back. I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay? You predict the bunny suit. Yeah, that's a good prediction. Okay, I will be right back. I hope you're happy now, Steffi. I hope you're happy that you're making me do this. So the timer has started. We will be in a bunny suit for 1 hour and not 1 minute longer. Bunny plow, let's go. Oh no, cool gang. Oh no. Okay. But I do have different glasses.
Nice.
Hey, Coil. Thank you to everyone watching with Coil for those 100 sweet bits. Just in case it wasn't clear. Just in case it wasn't clear what this looks like. I will help you understand what this suit is like, okay? It is a full body bunny suit, okay? There, it's not just like a top bit or something. It is a full body bunny suit. I'm sitting here in a full body bunny suit on the internet. Oh no, Denver, what have you done? It looks like you're wearing a diaper and no pants. It is kind of like a big diaper, sort of. Denver, I'm not even coding right now. But okay. Sure. All the redemptions at once. In the black and white view. Oh, I see, because it's black and white. Okay. Does this make you happy? Tiny hands? Tiny hands and a bunny suit? Is this like what you're looking for on Twitch? I just realized my chair's a bit low. What happened to 5 tiny hands per hand? They're kind of distributed all over the house at the moment. So I don't really know where they are. I'd have to go find them. Because we were putting them in mysterious places. Finite, your redemption will have to wait. While I'm wearing the cool gang. They will have to wait. So yes, I broke my website. So for the moment, for the stream, we're just going to be using my Netlify version. So if you want to access my Netlify site, it's like this. For the stream, if you want to look at it while we're doing stuff today. Because I'll be deploying everything that we do to production, of course. And now you might be asking, what are we going to do? Well, we have to install Snowplow on it. We have to get Snowplow up and running on the website to start tracking all the information, right? That's how it works. So we got to start tracking events, and then we got to access our data, and then we can do some cool analysis stuff on it. YOLO deploy indeed, Panther. YOLO deploy. So the first thing is, if we want to start tracking events, we could use a few different ways. Snowplow has like something like 25 different trackers or something. So if I'm not using JavaScript and I'm not using iOS or Android, we could check out all the different trackers that there are, which is pretty much everything. So we could look at Node.js or Pixel Tracker, or even Unity. So someone like Noob could actually track his stuff in Unity if he's using Unity. I think that's how it would work. I'm not familiar with Unity. I actually want to use the browser package, the npm package, because I think that's the best one. So we're gonna type Snowplow Oh yeah, there it is. Browser package. So this is the one I want to use. npm install Snowplow browser tracker. So let's just open the website. So this is my site. I don't think I did any updates, but it's good to always check. Just get the latest stuff. Oh, come on. I can't even type properly with tiny hands. Already up to date. Good. Maddie had to show up Mitch in his Harry Potter onesie. Does Mitch have a Harry Potter onesie? No way! That's hilarious. I didn't know that. This has been a long time coming. This was like a challenge from TD like months ago, so I had to do it. Get push. Clear. Is that right? Yes. Okay. You gotta check the VOD from last week. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to go look at that. Remind me, Flyboy, I have to watch that. I did not see that. Harry Potter onesie, that's hilarious. Mitch kind of has the face for it, actually. Yeah, actually. Oh yeah, finite, sorry. Hold on. Finite redeemed GDPR, which should be pretty interesting. Anonymous bunny. I have the face for radio, but not the voice. Oh, Flyboy. I don't know if that's true. I'll just believe you that it's true. What beautiful hands. Thank you, Paolo. No one knows who I am now. I am anonymous on the internet. I just popped my hands. It's always so satisfying. A face for radio and a voice for silent film. So I want to install the browser tracker because I think that's the easiest one to use in this context. Because I already have Node installed, as you can see. Hello, Sociable Steve! Welcome in. It's been a long time coming, Steve. Oh yeah, Squishy's owner. I wanted to change that, right? Squishy's parent or something. Steve is also part of the Claw stream team. Oh no. Oh no. Dino, what have you done? Dab? Oh no. Oh no. Okay. I hope I don't rip the bunny suit. I will attempt. I can't promise anything. I can't promise anything, but I will try. I don't know if this was what you expected, Dino, but I can do one more. We can try one more. Wow, that is the stuff of nightmares. Not gonna lie, that's actually kind of terrifying. That middle bit is really creepy. That never goes well with... Oh look, you can see the reflection of me in my GDPR glasses. Nightmares indeed, I'm done with the internet for today. I mean, Dino redeemed it, so... I'm assuming the screenshots have been made and they are landing in Discord as we speak, probably. I also wanted to try something. I'm gonna activate something. I'm not sure it's gonna work, but we'll find out. We'll find out shortly. So much to GDPR with all the reflections. Yeah, I know. I mean, I would have to stream like this or something. Or I would have to keep my head dead straight so there's no reflections. Let's see if I can do it like this. npm install at snowplow/browser tracker. Has GDPR caused the stream to die, or is it just me? Probably just you. Denver says it's just you. Steffi says it's just you. I'll check stream health. One sec. Just to make sure things are on the up-tee. Yeah, Twitch says everything's good on the stream health side. So, you know. I'm back. All right, so we added 8 packages. I blame the snow. Okay. So we added all these node modules that we need for Snowplow. And now we can just commit them. Added node package for added npm, not node, npm package for Snowplow tracker. And then we'll do a git push. Boom. Okay. So I commit node modules because Denver, everything is deployed on Netlify. Yes, I know, but it's because the site doesn't need to build. They are all being committed because they don't need to build on Netlify. They are in there by default. Let's refresh here. Alright, so it was published. Okay. So... awesome. Look at that. I embedded my own Twitch stream on here. How meta is that? I'm watching myself on my Twitch stream. Also, can someone do me a small favor and tell me what view count you're seeing right now on Twitch? I'm curious. Your webhook or theirs should build off your package list. 22, 36, 19, 19. Okay, interesting. It's not a framework that builds, it's just HTML, CSS, and JS. Yeah, Panther, you can probably explain better why the node modules are in there. Anyhow, let's check if my site's working again. It's still not resolving, is it? No, it's not. It's fine, it doesn't matter. It's not perfect, but I don't really need a static site generation. It's literally just text on a page, so it doesn't really need much right now. We can iterate later. Yeah, it's like a CDN, kind of. Yeah, exactly. Why I'm asking you all about the counts. What view counts do people see now? Higher or lower than there were before? 17 now. It's very interesting. Okay. I'm stress testing Twitch a little bit to kind of determine the thresholds at which they stop measuring someone as a viewer. Or start, rather. So yes, that was a good exercise. Thank you all for your valuable assistance. So now that that's been deployed, we can actually go to the tracking part. So here's the thing. We need to actually use this. Could just set a cron job to monitor that. Oh, you mean like the thing we built 2 weeks ago on the weekend as a stream team? Let me send you the link. So you mean something like this. The thing is that that number deviates very, very strongly. For still some reasons that I'm not sure about. This is like preface work for my project anyway. Alright, so no, we have to actually use these functions in the site. So I will need a JS file. I will not get around it. I mean, I don't have a JS file. Ah, wait, no, I do. I have a main.js. Where is it? I have this thing, this main.js. So I will need to put some stuff in here. The article I got it from said it will eventually be deprecated. Yes, that is true. However, I have received first-hand information from a Twitch developer advocate that there will be it will only be deprecated once there is something official. Big up Blue Laval. Yes, Blue Laval, exactly. Who's in our Discord, Fly. So, silly question, can I just put all this import stuff at the top of main.js? Because main.js is just included here with script source main.js. Surely that would work. It'll just run it when it gets to here. Should be no problem. I don't think there's any downside to that. Just wondering, why is this all wrapped in one ginormous function? Where? Okay. Let's just try this. Initialize your tracker with desired configurations. Everything. Everything. Don't call me Shirley. I want to have everything, but I only need one tracker. I don't need two. So this is how it works. Yes, Dino, it was a little bit delayed, but it was very funny. So, import new tracker, site tracking plugin, performance timing, client hints, we will get to, why not? And the form tracking plugin, we have to enable form tracking. Easy peasy. Then we make a tracker. We're going to call it Matty Plows. I wanted to name the tracker where I'm working something with plows in it, but as it's a financial institution, they wanted to be a little bit more conservative. That's what they said. I'll take name suggestions. Steffi says Maddie Snowshoes. Do I hear any better name suggestions in chat? Snowy McSnowface. We've already got a stream app called Streamy McStreamface apparently, because nobody likes Justin Numbers. Maddie Four Paws. Because of the bunny. Okay. Maddie Snowshoes is good. Why not? Then we have to put the collector endpoint. Okay. So once we've installed that, we can go track stuff too, but we have to have the collector endpoint. So Maddie 8 tiny hands extending from his 4 fingers. Ass.com. Classic joke, Panther. Classic. That is a very long collector name, and I don't feel like debugging that later. I'm sorry. Vetoed. Rejected. Snappy. Very snappy. Okay. What's my collector? I need to find my collector URL. You can also do webhooks. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this. Basically, you could track anything in Snowplow, more or less. Because you can always do custom stuff as well. So, hi from Nim. Taylor is eating at the moment, so I'll let you know he still thinks about you and loves you. Thank you, Nim. Thank you very much. Enjoy your dinner, TD. Oh, wow. Noob calling in the first. Sure. More like the worst first. First, the worst noob. It's just like the worst first I've ever seen on Twitch. How do I get my collector thing? I found this somewhere. Okay, I need to find... Ah, here we go. Hold on a second. Status information. Ah, collector address. Here we go. So you see, my pipeline is ready. But I haven't received any events yet. That was the worst first? Yes, Steve, it was worse than yours. Because it's like an hour into stream. You know? It's like an hour into stream. So, I mean... yeah, I mean, it's just... It's very late. But Noob, it's great to see you. It's great to see you. Oh wow, that didn't work. Why does that not work? Interesting. Never. No one can ever take that accolade away from Steve. Some people do that after 2 hours into the stream. That is true, Noob. That is true. Show Maddie cares about his viewers. I'm very confused as to why this isn't copying. There we go. Okay, so this is the collector URL. I'm aware that people could try and copy it, and I really do not care, because this is only going to last for 14 days, and then it's going to get shut down anyway. So if you want to try and copy it, try. Try. What is Snowplow? Explain like I'm 5. When people click around your website, you will receive that information in your computer. What they clicked and what they did on your website. And the other snowplow moves snow off the road. Okay, so can I do this? Will this work? I don't know. We have to see if this works. So now that I have the tracker in there, let's see if we can actually run the site at all. Oh, I think I need to mute? No, I don't actually. I think I set my my stream to auto mute. Oh, what's happening here? Uh-oh. I broke it. I think it's a function thing. Cannot use import statement outside a module. Say what now? What? Is this the wrong place? This is the JS file. What? I'm very confused. I need to edit package.json. Oh no, what did I do? No! I clicked something. No, don't do that again. Don't do that again. I don't have any tests. Right. That, okay. This is the whole package thing, right? If I use require instead of import, then I don't need to declare them as modules. What's the syntax for require? I forget. I have to look up this require syntax. Yeah. But how do I reference the name? I have to name it first. Const new tracker equals require and then brackets. Is that how to do it? That seems right. Oh, Denver just wrote. Great. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Then I'll do it this way. That's easier for me. Site tracking plugin equals we are developing So Noob, did that explanation satisfy your 5-year-old mind? Did it make sense for you? Great additional knowledge up in here. The thing is that with Snowplow you control everything. That's this is more tricky. I need to do both, I think. With Snowplow you own the entire process, so you don't have to rely on any third-party services because it's all running within your environments. So whether that's like GCP or whatnot, I think there's a few different places it can run. You mean you have to rely on yourself? Well, no, you can also pay Snowplow to run it for you as a managed service, but it will run on your environment. Okay, so let's see if this is still broken or not. It's still broken. Why is it still broken? Require is not defined. What the hell? What is going on here? What's the issue? I mean, I'm not sure why that isn't working though, because uncaught reference error. I mean, script type module source main.js and using the import syntax. But then where would I place the where would I place the reference if not in main.js? Or maybe make a separate file. I don't know. Maybe like this file is causing some kind of syntax error. Maybe we should put this in a separate thing. I don't know. Does it make sense? Also, I have no idea, but Twitch is causing some kind of issue there as well. Probably not something I can fix, to be honest. Well, okay. Let's add a new file. Hey, Exegete! Nice to see you again. It's been a while. It's good to have you again. Good to have you back. How have you been, Exy? What are we gonna call this? SP... Oh, no, we shouldn't call it sp.js because that's already the name. You can put it in main.js while using import syntax. You just need to make your JS file a JS module, which you do by adding the type to your script tag that references the JS file in index.html. Ah, now I know what you mean. Good, tired, but good. Okay. Let's try that suggestion from Steffi. That would be here. Here, I would say its type equals module and source main.js. And then I have to use the import syntax again. So let's comment these out and do those. Oh, we already have that. This one. That should, in theory, work. Type error. Failed to resolve module specifier. Snowplow browser tracker. Relative references must either start with slash, dot, slash, or dot, dot, slash. Where is it trying to... Oh, I see. It's trying to get the modules from npm? Does that make sense? Rather than through require in package as a dependency. Right. It doesn't know where they are. That's the problem. It doesn't know where they are. It won't auto-load from node modules in a browser because you're not running it in node. Exactly, it doesn't know where to get them, basically. Because they're now in this, yeah. Thank you both for your explanation. So it's dot should be the correct path. Oof. 404. Let's check the path. Get src js. Oof. Hashtag. Give me a link in Octothorpe. What is Octothorpe?
Garbage.
Great timing, Panther. Slash. But that is the correct reference. Slash no module slash Snowplow. Aren't these already... Oh! All of them. How did I miss that? How did I miss that? It's awful. I'm only using 2/3 of my screen. That's the real problem. That's why I missed all those things. Yeah. That's... But it doesn't find it. It's not the correct path. It's still having issues. It still doesn't know where to get this thing. That's fun. src js. Ah, we need to go one level higher. Is that off the root? Is it double dash? I can't remember how to go up one more. How do we go up one level higher? Dash and then slash double dot. No, didn't find that one still. But hold on, source? SRC. Ah, yeah, even one level higher than that. It's still in SRC. It needs to be one more. Yeah, now it found it. Now there's only the other 4. Okay. Yeesh. Well, that's not ugly at all, but okay. Double trouble. This week on Bunny Tracking with Snowplow. Double trouble. Oof. Why is... Webpack would make those prettier. Stream now. No. Stream no. Stream number. So what happened now? Site tracking. Ah, wait, did I not import those? I don't think they exist. Ah, yeah, they don't exist. I have to install all of them, I think. Browser plugin site tracking. So I need to do npm install at snowplow / browser. What the? I just tabbed. All I did was tab. / browser plugin site tracking. Why does it keep debugging? Oh, can I turn this off? How do I turn off the debugger permanently? Remove all breakpoints. There's no breakpoints. Okay, we got to do the rest. I might just copy paste. It might be easier at this point. The debugger! Yeah, I really don't know how to turn it off. This is what's annoying me, because it keeps coming up here. I must have clicked something earlier. Where is it? There's no... I don't understand. There's no, like, breakpoint anywhere. Oh, yes, of course we can still drop. I want client hints as well. I should have gone with the whole thing. Oh well. Add snowplow / debugger attached. Where is that coming from? I don't get it. Well, that looks like it's working beautifully. This is because my site is broken and not because Snowplow is bad. High quality analytics in 5 minutes. Assuming... yes, Exegete. Assuming that you don't bork your own website. Like I did. Ah, this thing. That's better. It was here on the right. I found it. Is that a JS debugger window in your terminal tabs, bottom right of VS Code? Yeah, I just found that one. The moment that I'm reading this, I already found it. Okay, so everything is in there now. Fine. There's some weird stuff from Twitch, which is fine. Probably because Twitch doesn't like that I'm loading things. I don't know. Failed to load module script. Expected a JavaScript module script, but the server responded with a MIME type of text HTML. Ooh. What? What is this? I mean, at this point, it's probably going to be easier to do it a different way. Maybe I should just use the JavaScript tracker. It might be easier in this scenario. I was going to use just... I was going to use, like, the browser package, but this seems to be acting up. So we could maybe just do the JavaScript one instead. I don't know. What do you think, chat? I mean... Oops. I just think we can avoid a lot of issues. We can just use the JavaScript one. MIME types, what's next? Cores? Oh, I really hope not. Ugh. I really hope not, because of the domain thing. That would really irk me. That would really screw me over. Well, let's okay, let's try with JavaScript then. Let's try with JavaScript. Why not? You know what? Let's just put it in the head and be done with it. It's not the best way of doing it, but you know what? We'll do it. The modules are there, that's fine. It doesn't hurt anybody. But we will do it directly. In the head. Bottom of the head. Blah blah blah. New tracker. Tracker name. Maddie Plows. App ID. Okay, so we can set an app ID, which will be our own. Which will be, I'm gonna call this Maddie 2 Shoes Web. We don't need to, theoretically. But, you know. I hope with the JS version we don't get cores issues. Hey Steve! Welcome in! First to you! Good job. Do you have carrot cake on the brain? You know, Stream Elements is just trying to be helpful. You know, it doesn't know when to shut up, let's say. Or secure tracker, yes. Context web page, yes, it is a web page. Performance timing, true. We want load times, yes. We also want some other contexts. Garbage. We also want some other garbage. We're going outside! We're not. But everybody can drop. And we'll see if J. Walter manages to land the carrot. Snowplow, web, JavaScript. Come on. JavaScript context. If it can't tell me what an octothorpe is, it's not helpful. I really need to know now. Really? You mean hashtag? I had no idea it was actually called an octothorpe. Sharp. Not hashtag. Hold on a second. It says it's... Wikipedia says it's the pound sign. How can you say, Denver, that it's not the pound sign? Oh, I landed in my own drop game. It is the pound sign. Another term for the symbol hash or pound sign or hashtag. Okay. Tracking events. It's not a pound sign. Pound is the pound sign. Okay. 8 segments separated by lines. Octothorpe. Yes, the pound sign, but not a hashtag. Oh no. Someone is wrong on the internet again. Oh dear. These are all the plugins. How do I activate client hints? Oh, I need to initialize it. Ah. Hey, noob. We know this track, don't we? This is Noob's favorite hype track, I think. Wasn't Octothorpe the villain in a Spider-Man movie? Wasn't that Octo something else? This is the pound sign fight me. Well, let's assume for the moment that we don't do any plugins. Why not? We'll just do simple stuff for the moment. Fine. Performance timing true. Okay, so Snowplow. Enable activity tracking. First heartbeat after 10 seconds, every 10 seconds after. It's a good free one, yes. You're all a bunch of octo dorks. Takes one to know one indeed, Panther. Oh, Twitch is telling me my bitrate is going all over the place. Why does this have to be today? Why does this have to be today? Honestly, like, I already yeeted my personal website. Is this stream family friendly? Not explicitly, but I try to keep it safe. Relatively safe. I try to keep it relatively safe. This is concerning me. Ah. Why do you ask, Exegete? You want to paste a link to something that isn't family friendly, probably. Let's put it this way. It's not marked as mature. If that makes sense. If that makes sense. Okay, so first heartbeat after 5 seconds and every 10 seconds after that. Enable link click tracking and track page views. Yes. I will refrain from my knee-jerk reaction to Octodork. That's probably wise, I would say. Okay, so the JavaScript tracker is ready. And it doesn't seem to be blocking anything. No, it's not blocking anything. However... Oh. Yes, okay. Device orientation events are blocked by permissions policy. Oh, that's Twitch trying to get something from video native JS stuff. Octoderp. Okay, so how do we know if it's sending events? Well, we know what our tracker URL is. So we can hopefully see those events in the browser. Remember, our collector URL was, I don't know what, something here. Something with try Snowplow in it, right? So if that's in there, we can just go to, let's close this stuff. It's a lot of stuff open. That's why it's causing problems, because I'm loading my own stream locally. Okay, so let's search the events here. So this is what we see now, okay? We see pre-flight requests, which are checking if it's able to send requests. That's with the request method options. It kind of checks what's available on the server kind of thing. I don't understand fully about pre-flight stuff. If somebody knows more about pre-flight and wants to explain it in chat, feel free. I'm not an expert, but here are the post requests, and as part of the post requests we can look at the payload. Now we can see all of this data being sent. Voila. And of course it's going to send all of these pings automatically every 10 seconds. You want this to be more hands-on, Steffi? Is that what you're saying? We can do that. We can make this stream more hands-on. Why not? So there was a bit of wobble in the bitrate, but it seems that everything has returned to normal so far. So what do we do now? We have to check git status. Okay, untracked files, and we did a bunch of changes. That's fine. Git git add dot, nope, space dot. Okay, git commit, commit dash m quotation marks. We're gonna call this Snowplow. Oh, I can't type. Snowplow JS. Ah, come on. Tracker. This is so hard with tiny hands. There we go. No, I made an error still. Snowplow JS tracker. Steve says, pre-flight request is to check you're allowed to actually post the request from the domain you're on and what headers you're allowed to send based on the response's access control headers. It's a chorus thing. Thank you. What's the problem with git add dot? I need to add all the node modules. You know? I need to add all of them. What's the issue? And feckin' is okay, Denver. Or heckin'. I want to add everything. I need to add them. Yeah, I'm not using node modules right now. I might use them later. I'll put them in there. It doesn't harm. Doesn't really matter. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna run out of space on Netlify, am I? Or, okay, fine. If you want to remove the node modules, fine. We could remove them. What is the clean way to remove them? Remove them from dependencies and delete the node modules folder? No. How do you uninstall node modules correctly? Even if you use EM, you git ignore EM. Ah, you see, you weren't here, noob. The reason that we have the node modules in Netlify is kind of like a CDN thingish reason. Delete the folder. Oh, really? Delete the folder and package JSON and package lock JSON. But okay, I can just delete the dependencies. I can keep the package JSON. There's no problem with keeping it. We probably need a command. We probably need a command for it, Panther. You're right. Maybe. I will keep a package JSON there because I don't want to rewrite it next time. npm uninstall package, but it would be just easier to just delete the folder at this point. Because I don't need anything else in there. Yay! Git add dot. Now it should tell me I removed all this stuff, right? If I didn't have to type with tiny hands, of course. Yes, now it's removed all of them. At this point, yes, but you asked for a clean way to remove a package from your doorstep. Take the box and put it into your house. Yeah, the more changes, the more work I'm doing, Steve. Isn't that how it works? Isn't it a thing that, like, the more activity I have in the repo, the more work I'm doing, you know? Remove
Garbage.
Fine. Oh, don't make me put hands on again, Steffi. No. You have too many points. You're gonna wear them longer for that pun. I knew I'd pay for that. GDPR and hands. Very well. That's why I refuse to measure code contributions as a metric of quality. That makes sense. Even to me. Even to a layperson like me. Hey, you know what's funny? Now that the GDPR glass is on, I can protect myself against 90 million lumens. And you can't. Not like this, we're not. I think we'll scare the children. Where's the camera thing? It's here. I'm blind! So, GDPR is confirmed. Hands-on is confirmed. Joke's on you, I just got an ad. What? Steffi? Oh, wow. That was good timing for the ad. That saved you. That didn't feel like anything over 75 million. Twitch saved you. That's the only time that's gonna happen, probably. I'm guessing. Okay, so... it should be live. Maddie2 shoes. .netlify.app. Okay. Yeah, let's pause this so we don't cause any issues. You need to turn up the brightness on your monitor. No, I do not. It's already very bright. Trust me. It's very bright. It's not 90 million lumens, but Cyber Bunny with 28 fingers. It's kind of creepy. My monitors are all on 100%. Why are you coughing, Dino? Are you okay? Yes, the time warp will happen. I just can't do it right now. You have to wait. It's just... I can't do it on this scene. I can't do it on this scene. It's not set up on this scene. It's only set up for full screen time warps. But I will do it with your request, which was with the hands, right? And the glasses, probably. Don't worry, Dino. Rambo Sweets, yo! Welcome in to this crazy stream. Is it working? Can we see if it's working? I mean, we can refresh. Maybe it will show us some stuff. I'm worried that it's getting blocked by something. What is this? What is this? Is this Amazon IVS? Is that Twitch stuff? That looks like Twitch stuff. Snowplow doesn't look like it's failing. Let's check Netlify. Did it deploy? Added npm package 945. That's ages ago. Oh, we didn't push, did we? We didn't push, did we? Yeah, that's probably the reason. Are you using React Player? I'm not, no. For the embed, you mean? For Twitch's video? I just embedded it with the iframe thing that they recommend. So that should be deployed instantly. Let's refresh. Yes, now it deployed. Okay, so now, also, should we check if my site's back up yet? It's still not back up. Oh. I'm not using React at all. No. This is a plain vanilla JavaScript HTML CSS site. Super basic. Basic like me, essentially. React Player is better than what? No frameworks. Just stuff. Just code. No frameworks. Hey, there we go. It's successful. 200. No cores. No blocking of any kind. Maddie basic shoes. Yo, that's working. So now I have to ask everyone for a favor. Basically. We have to test if stuff works. Give me 1 second here. So if I click stuff, let's click some stuff like let's talk. So you see that XHR request go out? We can check out the payload. And there should be some stuff in here that it was a click. Thank you, Ian, for throwing that paper ball at my face. Where was that link click thing? E, unstructured event, exactly. And somewhere there will be some unstructured stuff that it's a link click. Where do I see that? It's here somewhere. Maddie Plows. That's the name of our... Oh well, yeah, there's some stuff in there. I think they encode it. Thank you, Rambo Sweets, for sending good vibes over. I appreciate it. Well, everything is working as intended. So everybody in stream now is going to help me by going to my site right now and clicking the crap out of everything there, except the Twitch player. You can ignore that because that's not measured. But basically, I'm going to paste this in chat. Okay. Everybody now is going to go to this site and you're going to spam the crap out of it. You're going to load the page a couple times. You're going to click everything that you can click. You're going to click the stuff in the footer. You're going to click the stuff here. You're going to click lumen switches. Everything you're going to click. And all this data is going to land in my Snowplow instance, and then we are going to analyze it live on stream. And while that's happening, I'm going to do your time warp dino, your redemption. Okay? Because I got to change scenes for that. All right, so. Alright, I will try my best. I don't know what you want me to do with my hands. I've run out of things to click and my retinas have been melted by the lumens. You should have about 100 lumen switches from me. Thank you! Fantastic! Thank you very much. Everyone who's clicking around, you will be part of the analysis later. Of course, I will not dox you in any way, shape or form. I can't, also. The IPs are being anonymized. So... Dr. Dynamite. My man, what is your time warp request? Because I know it's like 7 minutes ago. On mobile, the roller skate is off center. Yeah, there's some weird visual bugs on the site, Rambo. Thanks for letting me know. Feel free to put them as issues in GitHub if you like. My site's in my GitHub. There's a link to the GitHub. Is there a heat click map? So no, Snowplow isn't a visualization tool. So we don't have like a heat map by default or something. But there is some analysis work that we can do of the data. That's what's really interesting about Snowplow, is it just gives you all the data, and you can do with it what you want. It's in your model, the way you want it to be, how you defined it. Nobody else takes that decision for you. That's what I think is so great about it. Dealer's choice. What about wacky inflatable arm man? I could try that. I might have to be really quick about it. I don't know if that's what you intended. I probably have to raise my arms higher. Hold on. I'm instantly regretting this one. I am pretty sure that I'm going to regret this one forever. I know where that's going to end up, and I regret it already. It will probably end up as an emote as well. Oh, my fingers are actually sweating from the tiny fingers. Can you believe that? It's awful. This is as good a time as ever as to take a short break. Can you sell it as an NFT? I love how two people independently arrived at the same conclusion that it's worth an NFT. I will be taking a short break now, just to get some water and cool my head off. Would anyone like to predict where Fiona is going to be? Now's your chance to earn some channel points. And keep clicking the site in the break if you like. You can click it as much as you want. Also, Rambo, thank you very much for your compliment. I'm glad you like the site. I tried to make it as simple as possible and still look cool. Okay, so we're gonna run a prediction. We're gonna run an official prediction to see if any of you can guess. You could come up with some irrefutable way to verify who came up with the NFT. All the banter in chat is fantastic. I love all of you for bantering. So we're gonna do, will Fiona, it's always yes or no. It's always yes or no. She doesn't have a bed per se. She does have a bed, like a dog bed, a big one, but she doesn't go into that ever, except when she's jumping into it to come to the gate. My people, they are here. So we'll do, I think we'll run a classic. We'll run a classic today. Will Fiona be on the couch? That is a classic. Yes or no? Okay. 2-minute vote. In 2 minutes, I'm going to go on a short break. In chat, there is now a small predict thing that came up, where everyone can predict if they think Fiona is going to be on the couch or not when I turn on the bunny cam. Also, if anyone from Snowplow is watching, say hi in chat. So we have 91% yes, 9% no. Interesting. The couch is large. It's 50-50 whether she's on it or not. It's evening, so she loves going on the couch in the evening, but she goes on the couch during the day too. So, you know. Yeah, could be, you know. Could be only one person on each side. I see 2 on each side now. You still have another minute or so to vote. This is your chance to win channel points. If you want to redeem stuff like the tiny hands and time warp and all these kinds of cool redemptions. It's 3 versus 2. Considering there's like almost 40 chat users, according to Lurk Reveal. It's kind of bonkers that there's so few people who want to earn channel points. But maybe it's not so easy for some people to vote. Maybe they're doing something else. If you're lurking, you're lurking. No problem. Users. Identities. 68%, 32%. I can lose and still trigger a bunny suit. Ah. That's good to know. 90% surely digital friends? No, only 10 or so. Only 10. So there should still be around 30 people in here. A couple of those are maybe, a couple of the others might be a bot as well, but the others are probably just lurking, just listening. Yeah, Beats. People like you throwing paper balls at me. All right, so now the reveal. Are we ready, chat? Are you ready for the reveal? Oh, she is. She's on the couch. She's over here on the very bottom, on the bottom right. She is indeed on the couch. The outcome is yes. Fiona's on the couch. Everybody who voted yes, congratulations. I will take a short break and you can continue to watch Fiona on the couch. And I shall be right back in a minute or so. Bye-bye. Oh, we are back. It has been over an hour. Over an hour in the bunny suit. I'm so warm. I don't know if it's obvious. My hair is probably a mess. A little bit. Doesn't matter. Basically, who won? Who won? Canhorn, thanks for the good vibes. Sociable Steve won 464 points. That's very good. White Panther, I did a J. Walter and predicted with no points. Ooh, you're saving up for another bunny suit. Not saving up for Hydrate. This rabbit's room is bigger than my office. She does have her own room. Beats, yes. She has her own room. That's her own stream and she can afford indefinite amounts of Hydrate. The stranger in the bunny suit left. They left. They went away. Congratulations on those who won a total 80,000 channel points I saw. I think a few people did very well there. So this is great. We now have collected a crap ton of events. Let's not forget that Snowplow is an event platform, right? It's just sending events all the time. All the pings, all the clicks that you've all been doing, that is sending events. Surprise, it's 90 million lumens, a soft version. So now comes the question of, can we analyze this data? And the question is, of course, yeah, we can. I want to check if my website's up. I'm sorry, I just need to keep checking it. Ooh, I wrote my registrar a very angry email that I didn't understand that if a domain is in transfer, how the name servers suddenly get lost. It doesn't make any sense to me. Ooh, blue, white, red, and you'll be happy to know, Flyboy, that I fixed it. Blue, white, and red. Is that red? Kind of pink, hold on. I fixed it. Because last time it was broken when you redeemed, and I told you I was going to fix it, and I fixed it. So, now what? Well, we already deployed the code, so we can kind of forget about the code for the moment. It's totally fine. Now what we have to do is we actually have to basically follow the guide. Hold on, let's put this into dark mode. I'll come back to the visualization stuff in a second, okay? Because I have a cool thing for us to do that. Because Snowplow is not a visualization platform, right? It's just a behavioral data platform, BDP. And basically they just collects the data, right? It just orchestrates it and processes it and puts it somewhere. In this case, oh, we have 165 events tracked. Holy moly. Actually, it's probably more. Let's check. It's probably more. 165. That's already pretty good. So thank you for your amazing clickery. That's very good. I think that is going to be sufficient to demonstrate the power of how cool Snowplow is. Access your data. So I need to look at these things without anybody seeing this. So we can access our Postgres database. So your Snowplow trial loads the data you capture into a Postgres database, which everybody who's been on stream before knows I love Postgres. I love it. You can connect an existing BI tool to your Postgres database, or you can use any SQL query tool. Now, I could connect DataGrip, my local IDE, to it, but I can't do any visualization in DataGrip. And I thought it would be a cool chance to show you something that I played with a while back on one of the previous streams. There are VODs for it on YouTube as well. But rather than going back to look at it on the VODs, you can experience it live. Also, today's playlist is very hype. I like it a lot. Let's see what happens. I love this is 90 million lumens and this is 1 million lumens in dark mode. So basically I thought we could connect count this BI workbook tool to this Postgres database, because then we can run SQL queries and we can visualize them at the same time in a really cool format. And actually Snowplow has a little link here, view popular query tools. They actually list a couple here like Looker, Tableau, Power BI, Sisense, Mode, Metabase, Superset, Redash, etc. So I think they should list count here, but it's probably because they maybe don't want to refer to a paid tool or something like that. Although Tableau is paid, maybe they don't have a partnership with Count. I don't know. So I'm going to be using count.co. It's very simple to remember. I'm going to be using count to have a look at the data that we generated with Snowplow. It's very simple. So everyone saw how the Snowplow tracker worked. Very simple. JavaScript, right? The browser one is more faff-free in my case because of the way it's set up. That my site is a static site, so it's a little bit more complicated. But the browser npm package is actually really easy to integrate if you already have a Node.js site or you have any kind of site that uses npm. You can basically just import those node modules and you'll be ready to go. So like in a site like whitepanther.com or the claw.team or any of these sites that are built off of static generators with npm, with any kind of framework in it. And that's actually the browser package is what I am using, well, the developers are using where I currently work for our web product, because it is the easiest way to integrate if you already have something built on that technology. So I'm going to blur my screen because I need to reveal the credentials for this Postgres thing. So I'm gonna call this try Snowplow. Snowplow, I don't need a description. The host name is this, port 5432 as usual. Database name is called Snowplow. The credentials are request credentials. They can only be done once. That's why I'm only doing it once, and I'm blurring my screen. So I'm going to copy the username. I'm going to copy the password. Okay, now we can connect, I believe. Unable to get local issuer certificate. Okay. Trust the server. Okay, so I think it's connected. It was that simple. I think it was literally that easy. Okay. Create a project. Try Snowplow. Okay, that's it. It's connected. What was that? 3 minutes? That's pretty quick. If we disregard all of the browser stuff we faffed around with, then installing the JavaScript, getting data in there is literally 5 minutes. And then you can be analyzing it in another 2. So the 5 minutes is actually pretty good. I mean, they talk about 5 minutes. It's not that far off. It really isn't. If you have a site running and you know what you're doing, not like me, then I think it can work very well. So if we copy this query, let's create a notebook. There's even a thing here that you can actually run a sessions model. They already give you some like ways to build reports. They give you some like out of the box kind of queries that you can use. Of course, I'm not going to use the out of the box ones, right? I'm going to write my own SQL, and I'm going to do that here on count. Also, still want to check if my site's back yet. It's still not. Ooh. All right, so we have atomic events. You can see app ID. These are all the different columns that we get with Snowplow. It's crazy. Maddie2Base. I love the playlist today. I'm on such a huge bass mix. So how do we make queries here? You can just write the query and execute it. And it gives you the data. Now, of course, this is in dark mode, so it's probably not going to work so well in dark mode. So I'm going to have to change it to light mode. I'm sorry for all of you who are trying to be in dark mode. I'll open up a little tab here to keep some of the screen dark, or I can actually remove that completely. I do not have, oh, maybe they've added dark mode. Hold on, let me check. Maybe they have dark mode now. This is, I'm still in the notebook. Hold on. Lumens account. I want to blur stuff, sorry. I want to see if there's a way to... No, there's no dark mode. I'm sorry, there's no dark mode. Unsubs. Literally unwatchable. You know what? You all are savage. What did you do 5 years ago when you were in university or in school or in a presentation at work and someone uses a PowerPoint or Google Slides with a you know, with a white background? Did you just yell at them in the meeting? Ah, lumens! You know? Is that what you did? Like this? Ah! Why? Why would you do this? We suffered and we hated it. Well, unfortunately, I cannot change their thing. But anyway, this is how count works. It's really cool. So you have a database here. You see all these dimensions. These are all the different dimensions that we have available to us. There's tons of stuff in here. Tons. Ah, Lumens, get out of my meeting, cretin. That's why you're out of a job in 2 days. That shouts for an unvip Matty Two Shoes on Discord. You know what? If you want to do it, make my day. Make my day. It forced me to go to the pub and get drunk instead of suffering lumens in a lecture. When I was at university, everything was dark mode, green on black. Oh, Yoast, you must be very old. So try Snowplow. What did people click on Maddie Two Shoes? Maddie2.shoes. MVD Dev, thank you very much for the follow. Very appreciated. Can barely see that. Let's keep half the screen. That seems appropriate. Your quote is, "It is not the length of life, but the depth." Which kind of makes sense because we're talking about analysis as well. It's not about how much data you analyze. So some of these columns are very useful. Some of these columns are not so useful, like page title. In our case, the page title will always be the same. When I was at university, everything was dark mode. I was dreaming. So if we do, let's see what kind of columns we want to get. I think we want to have, so you remember we set the app ID. If you look at the app ID, we can see it's just this one Maddie Two Shoes, right? So those kinds of things are not that useful. But we could look at, I think we're going to need some kind of timestamp, which is the derived T-stamp. Yost says, very old and sorry for the war. Which war? The first one? How old are you, Yost? Jeez. Wow. That makes you old. Very old. So we need a timestamp. Then we also... Is there like auto formatting here? That's not bad. We need an event ID. The very first war ever? No, I think like one of the big ones, you know. So we have a derived timestamp. What else do we have in here? What else could be useful? 100 Years War. Yost is super old. What else could we put in? Maybe devices mobile? DVCE type? Will that be empty? Tabs versus spaces war? Sure. Fight me on it. Fight me on it, Canorn. It's fine. The eternal war. It will never be over. Wars are pretty big by definition. Light mode versus dark mode. Tabs versus spaces. TypeScript versus whatever. War on drugs. Never ending. Let's name all the wars, chat. Yeah, just name all the wars. Keep it cheerful. The device type is empty. We might not have that available. It depends. Like some of the fields aren't picked up automatically. Tabs all the way. I agree with you. I like tabs. Vim versus Emacs. Although it does make sense. What is that command name? I forget it already. I already forget the name of the command that we put in. MySQL versus Postgres. That's not even a discussion. That's not even a war. MySQL loses every time. It doesn't have nearly the functionality of Postgres. It loses. It's not a war. It's like a... I don't know. No, it's the same one as in Panthers chat, Steve. It's the same command as in Panthers. Starting with F. REST versus GraphQL. Ah, you know what? I'm gonna go get it. Hold on. Yes, thank you, Steffi. That's the one. This is all in jest. I do not want people to argue about X versus Y wars. I think it's funny to declare the wars that they exist, but you should not engage in the wars. I will time people out. MySQL versus Vim. That's an interesting one. Okay, so we don't have device type, but we have some contexts. So you see here, you see this web page context or UA parser. Ah, yeah, so VS Code versus Microsoft Word. React versus Vue versus Angular versus Svelte versus... Oh, that's a big war, yeah. That's a big war. So you see this Snowplow Analytics, each of these, right? Basically, you have the way that Snowplow works, okay? For everyone to understand this, okay? You have an atomic events table. That events table has an event ID in it. Event ID. That event ID represents... Oh, I can actually turn off disco lights probably after this song. The event ID is always unique, but if it's not unique, then it will show a different timestamp. There will be some kind of unique row level variable. I don't want to rate this app right now. So, wait, Next.js page in Word? Oh gosh, that sounds like torture. Use Google Docs instead of Word and you'll reach a larger audience. Probably. Can you build a website in Google Docs? The answer is yes, you can use Google Sites actually. It's not very good, but you can use it. So every row is an event ID. If you look here, like event ID, and then what else can we put in there? We can put in a ton of stuff. And then if there's something you want additionally, so that's what this these contexts are in the code. You can basically get out of the context, you can get more information. Where was that? So in index.html. So here, for example, web page is true and performance timing is true. On top of that, where's the try Snowplow thing? I already closed it, didn't I? So so there's 175 events tracked. Amazing. So there's still more data coming in. In addition to that, so the way that the pipeline works from Snowplow is you get the stuff coming in, and then you can have enrichments running. Noob, this is a banger. I know. This track is just... Everybody should drop now, actually. Because we're dropping the bass. This is crazy. You can build a website in MS Word and export a single page HTML. What the fudge is HTML? Is that like Microsoft HTML? That sounds awful. Awful, awful, awful. Oh, Unoriginal Jerk made it in. Canhorn, that looks not so bad. Ooh, Surly Dev made it in. Interesting. Yost, I think you might overshoot the bowl a little. Yep. See if you can try with Squishy. I think you're gonna hit mid though. I think you're gonna hit over here. All right, so basically in the pipeline itself, you can still add more information to those events. That's what's really cool. Like you could technically use an API to go get weather data so that it would insert it directly during the time that the event happens. So you could get information about what weather it was at the person's location that they were viewing your site from, for example. There's all kinds of really cool stuff you could do with enrichments. The ones they've activated here are event fingerprints, PII pseudo-anonymization, which basically just makes sure that we don't collect any PII by accident. UA parser and Yawa, which is a service that allows us to extract the user agent stuff and know what kind of device it is, which is where we're going to get the phone versus desktop thing from. And basically the way that that happens is you have a separate table. Sorry, this is an atomic schema, and these are separate tables. Yes. And then in each of those tables, you have a root ID, and that root ID is the event ID. So for example, where's the Yawa one? This one. So you see here, somewhere, root ID. So this one, for example, if I take this value and I go here, where event ID equals this, you see, I get 3 events. And the way that I can link them together is just with a join. So I could say from atomic events as E, and then we do left join. What's this one called? Can't remember what it's called. NL. Atomic dot NL base.js whatever as Y. I know these names are not great. Also, I will move my camera because it's probably going to be in the way. I'll go over here, so we don't need to see this either anymore. So Y. Sure, now the drop is in front of me, of course. I could even go, I could go up top right, actually. That doesn't bother anybody. Looking at the liquid in the bowl, nobody bothers to flush anyway. Some bad aim to make the poo miss the bowl. Except for Surly Dev, of course. So we have derived timestamp event ID from atomic events as Y, and then on Y equals root ID equals E dot event ID. And then we can take stuff from the Yawa, like for example, device class. Like this. And now what we get, oh, index error. Y dot, oops, made a typo there. You just got a claw moth on your head. Yes, I know. This one. Like that. So you see here, now I can see the device class for each of these because they've been paired together. And I can get other stuff too, like device brand. What else do we want to get from this? I don't know. There's all kinds of cool stuff. Unknown. Probably because it's not reported. But let's see what everything that we could technically report. So let's see. We've got desktop, agent class browser, Chrome 96, agent version, CPU, all this kind of cool stuff. All kinds of weird stuff in there that I have no idea what it is. Layout engine name, Windows NT. Ooh, interesting. Windows 10. There you go. Voila. So that's all the interesting stuff you could get from this Yawa. So I think we'll take device class, and I think we'll take, what else we'll take? What was it? Operating system. Oh no, the browser. I also want the browser. The browser. Where was the browser? I forget. The user's credit card number is not in there. First of all, I'm not asking for it on my site, therefore it would not get collected in the first place. Agent class is browser. Where's the agent name? So that would be the browser name. I don't care which version right now. As long as it's stored with the expiry date in CV2, then that's fine. Yes, exactly. So first of all, it wouldn't be collected because I'm not asking for it, and second of all, it wouldn't be collected because the enrichment is active for PII pseudo-anonymization, and that would, in the pipeline itself, when it passes through, it will chop off credit card numbers and stuff like that by default. And y dot operating system name. Operating system name? Like this? Commas. There we go. There you go. Windows NT. Oh, maybe we do need the version in there. Is it this one? Operating system name, whatever this one is. Version major. No, I want the whole thing. What was this one called? Name version major. There we go. Ah, here. Chrome desktop, Windows 10. There we go. So those are the three things that I want, for example. Now I'm just looking at one event ID right now that had multiple timestamps. They all seem to be the same. So the reason that it's kind of exploded the rows is because each of those separate events have some other rows in them that have different values, and that's notably the case with the context stuff. It has different values in there, but we can actually just solve that problem by slapping a distinct in front here, and then it's not an issue anymore. Oops, I didn't want to do that. So we'll do just to make this clear. No, what just happened? What just happened? What? Oh, that did some weird stuff. Distinct. That was weird. I don't know what happened there. Alright, so we've got... This should work. Oops. How did that get... I don't know. Okay. So, now we have two rows, which for some reason are different. There's something different about them. Maybe the timestamp might be like a different millisecond. So what we could do is we could do a date trunk in Postgres, or timestamp trunk, but derive timestamp, and then we can do an hour, let's say, or maybe minute, as time hour. And this will be rounded up to the hour, kind of, or bucketed, let's say, to the hour. Who hasn't updated to Windows 11? I don't know. This could have been a bot, in theory, as well. Who knows? Everything is possible. So the question is, what did people click? Well, we have an event ID, but we don't have the actual content of the event. Everything is stored in this atomic events table. So we have some things here like event name, event vendor, event version. If we look at the event name, we can see, what's this run cell is, shift equal. So we can see the event name is page view. So what we can do is we can actually just get rid of this filter. There we go. So now we have a bigger frame. Let me expand this a bit. So you can see here we've got page ping. So page pings are the intervals, right, of what happens. And the page view is when the page gets loaded. A link click is when someone interacts with any of the links on the page. And then there would be another one, probably, maybe not. It would be a struct or unstruct. Now here's what's cool about count is this is very hard to interpret. So we can just click the visual button, and this is where we can already flip this on its other, like on its head, right? We can already visualize this data without writing any different code. That's what's kind of cool. So we can have the, I don't know, we want to have the hour, and then maybe we want to have, oh, these are by minute, right? Did we do minute or hour? Hold on. Oh, we did. Okay, we did minute. Let's do hour instead, just to get a bit less distribution. Okay. So let's expand that again, and let's do visual. So you see here, I might have to detail size. That's literally the size. Hold on, let's take that out again. Hello? Oh no, why isn't that working? What? Area? Ah, here we go. Okay. Area is probably not good. Here we go. So line, and then we can do, for example, device class as a group, desktop and phone, and then we could do as the Y, we could do event ID. Can we count it directly? I think we can count it directly somehow. I'm not super familiar with it. But basically, you would be able to use your data directly like this. You would be able to visualize it directly and count. Obviously, we're not in a place yet where we can visualize something really cool. But we'll get there in a second. We'll definitely get there in a second. So if we want to know what the event contents were, so in the case where the event name is where event name, oh sorry, I was looking in the wrong field. It's event, sorry. Let me just comment this out for a sec. So there's a event, yeah, so unstruct, page ping, and struct and things like that. So that basically means there's essentially page ping, page view, struct, and unstruct. A structured event is something we declare. So we say, I want to track this as a structured event, which we would have to build into our site. So we would have to go here, and when someone clicks something, say on click something something. And we could do that, of course, we can do that. So we can have here, if you go to JavaScript, then you can enable all these things, right, in the script. And then if you want to track additional stuff, then you can go, for example, to where's their tutorial thing? These are only the tutorials for the... Okay, I'm gonna go to documentation. So for missing events, I go tracking events. Well, this is fine. Ah, this is just for try. Okay, hold on. What if I want to send additional events? So I could do JavaScript events. So if we have a JavaScript tracker, web and Node.js, and then we do JavaScript tracker. By the way, I really like their documentation. I think it's quite good. So we have a JavaScript tracker that's already being hosted. This is fine. v3, tracking events. So here, self-describing event, right? This is a so-called unstructured event where you can define it yourself. But if you just want to send some easy peasy events, then you can just send a struct. Where would I find? It's probably under here, tracking events. Where is a struct? Yeah. See here, track struct event, which is only consisting of category, action, label, property, and value. Those 5, which is kind of like this here. Were you first, Steve? Good job. Amazing. So basically a struct event is just these 5 parameters. Now, for a lot of people that won't be enough because they want to track something specific. But basically I would just here do this. You call this Snowplow's track struct event with this information. So we'd have to do that here, like we'd have to define an onClick function and then slap that into main.js. Like here with, I don't know, function something. Function, what would we call this? I don't know. Struct event. And you could say here, I think this would work. Something like this, right? And then you would call this function in the HTML, more or less. I'm not going to build this in now because we have enough data to work with. But you can build in all the events that you want. And if you don't like this, you can use your own custom events, which like this. So you can define all the properties yourself. You can use arrays, you can use true false, you can use integers, you can use strings, you can use functions to define dates, etc., etc. And on top of that, you can define additional context as well. This is a little bit confusing because the data structure, it ends up being like we saw here. It's the same kind of data structure that all of your contexts will end up here as separate tables. And they are basically joinable via that event ID. So with each event, you could send additional context. That would be kind of like if you run an e-commerce shop, you can run a context that it contains all the products that that person had in their cart. You know, when there's an add to cart event, for example. Swiss Lobita 92, thank you very much for the follow. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Make sure the important people in your life know they are important before it's too late. Oh, that sounds very dark, actually. That sounds very dark. That wasn't the intent. I just have like a list of quotes and it picks one randomly. Anyhow, so basically this is not enough yet. So we don't need the event thing itself. We just need the event name. Hi, Swiss Levita. I hope you're enjoying the stream. It's nice to see you here. I guess you're here for the first time. I don't haven't seen you around here before. So we've got event ID, event name, agent name, device class. Is there anything else we really wanted? I don't think. We can get some of the performance stuff, but that's not so interesting right now. I'm more interested in like content wise, like what did people click when they went to my site, you know? When everyone landed here before, what were people using, right? Like what were people primarily touching, if that makes sense. So we can get that information from in the events table. There is here SE action, SE category, SE label, SE property, SE value. Those are coming through on a structured event. And on an unstructured event, we will have to look in the... what was it called? Oh, you wanted to know the bad things I was looking at prior to clicking it. Oh wait, it was your stream. Fly. Yeah. It's not a big deal. We do have referral information, but I'm guessing it's all going to be Twitch. If you click the URL from Twitch, that could be actually interesting. Let's put in e.refer. What should we call it? Refer domain. Oh no, these are in the URL. Page refer, that's the one. Wow, so the refer is empty. That's cool. Localhost. Oh yeah, we could filter production traffic and non-production traffic as well by looking at only matty2shoes.netlify, for example, as like the traffic on that domain versus localhost stuff. But it's I'm not so concerned right now with doing that, but of course that's possible. But yeah, there was one from Google, which is kind of funny. I wonder how that was possible. Someone was on Google and then they did that, maybe? I forgot to announce the ad. So I'm sorry if you just got served an ad. I'm very sorry for not mentioning it beforehand. Sorry. I know I should mention it and I keep forgetting to mention it. So this is quite cool. This is really cool. I think we have everything that we need. The referrer wasn't that interesting as I thought. So we have all this stuff, and now we want to know what element was clicked. So if we look at the event itself, let me just open up the console here. We can debug it so that we know. If I hit let's talk, then there's a request, and in the payload I can go look for whatever information I'm looking for that would tell me that someone clicked the let's talk button. And you see, this is the difficulty of not defining something yourself, right? Is here. Can you create a ranked view of the first thing people clicked on? Like 5 people clicked on Lumen's toggle, 2 people clicked on Twitch embed, 1 person clicked on a footer link. In theory, yes, if they were tracked explicitly. So this is the problem, is that by default, here it is. Here's the URL. So the URL when clicking the Calendly CTA, the Twitch embed itself is not measured, I believe, because it's in an iframe. Yeah, so that won't be picked up. That won't be picked up by Snowplow. You'd have to install a listener on the iframe to do that, which is, it's possible, but it's more difficult. So we can just write this down. So the parameter was URL. So click URL equals this. Okay. So this is the let's talk button. Is that. This is how we can debug it. It's very simple. When I click the lumens thing, does it generate anything? It doesn't seem to generate anything by default. You see, so this would be something that if I wanted to know that, if I wanted to know if someone's using this, yeah, I would have to explicitly track this, because otherwise I won't have this information. And that's part of Snowplow's concept, is that they say, you know, we can measure a lot of things by default, but a lot of stuff you'll have to implement yourself, right? That's That's kind of how you have to do it in analytics. There are some tools that would try and capture like all clicks, but it would be very hard to identify this toggle. Definitely. So basically, we would have to look for the events where the URL is Calendly CTA. I think we'll have to look. That was a pre-flight. UE. So it would be an unstructured event, and the URL will be this, but the actual item itself is not captured somewhere. This UEPX, I'd like to look up in the tracker protocol. So you can look in Snowplow's documentation, tracker protocol. You can look at exactly, unstruct event. These are the properties of the event. That's cool. So it would be UEPR and UEPX, which is URL safe base 64 encoded. So we'd have to unbase 64 it. Yo says, mostly wondering if Snowplow gives you any helpers on top of standard SQL to analyze stuff like order within a session of data, or is that more something that an analytics surface needs to help with and Snowplow is more capture? So yeah, Snowplow is definitely just capture and processing. They don't model the data for you directly. There are tools like dbt that can sit on top of your data warehouse, and then they have some standardized models like session and stuff, but it's basically totally custom. You can do whatever you want. And count is amazing. Count is really cool. Really, really cool. I would probably want to do a whole stream about count at some point as well. But anyway, so basically we could look for an unstruct, but it won't be uniquely identifiable. That's the difficulty with this, right? Is if we don't set up any tracking ourselves, if we don't do anything really explicitly, is it UE? I thought it was UE. Hold on, we're gonna check. UEPX. Unstruct. Where's count? Here. So it will be in here. Link click. So if there is a link click, then we can get some of the stuff from here. So we could join this too. Why not? Left join atomic dot link click as L. I know these names are not very good, but root ID equals E dot event ID. So what kind of stuff can we get from L, you're asking? UEPX doesn't exist yet. Sorry, I gotta get rid of this. So we've got all kinds of cool stuff in here, actually. So we have link click, and then you've got the event ID, and then there's a timestamp, blah, blah, blah. Target URL. Ah, here we go. So these are all the links in the footer. And the CTAs also count as links. And the Twitch links and stuff. So this is perfect. We actually need this. We need these. So this is, we're gonna get the target URL is gonna be the one we want. And I think, yeah, if we had IDs on them, it would be easier, but we don't. Only the Calendly one has an ID. So we're gonna take the target URL from that table. Now I'm gonna clean this up a bit. I need this bigger. I'm sorry, chat. It needs to be bigger. I can't work with like half a screen. I'm so sorry. So we have to clean this up a bit because this is just like a raw data table. What's cool is I'm gonna delete this stuff. So if I have a cell and this cell is called, I don't know, raw table or raw data, I can do a select here, I believe, from raw data. It's quite cool. It's like having CTEs, like common table expressions in SQL, but it's more because you can kind of visualize them separately as well, which is kind of cool. So we don't need to know that anymore. And what we can do is in this raw table, we can already do some processing. We can say case when event name equals unstruct, or is it link click? Hold on. Oopsie daisy, I broke it already. Link click event name. So when the event name is link click, then l.target URL, else NA, for example, and as link click URL, target URL. Now, the downside is here we don't have any null values anymore. But we could technically also just null them in theory. Like, we didn't have to do this. I'm just saying, like, this is a possibility because you're working with completely raw data. You will have to process it a little bit. You won't get around that. But Joost, you were talking about kind of ranking the order of a session. So of course, what we also need to take into here is the session ID. And that will give us the kind of the idea. Really? Okay, that's a bit strange. Hold on. I thought it was called session ID. Oh, we don't have a session? Since what? This is very strange. I know there is a session ID. Yes, Ian. I'm wondering where that is. There should be a session ID value. That's very interesting. Did they put it somewhere else? So I'm used to using it in Snowflake at the moment, where everything is its own column, so it's a bit different. That's very interesting. There should be something that tells you when what... Ah, yeah, domain session ID. Sorry. Domain session ID. So, now we have a session ID, and the session ID is unique in the sense of if it's 30 minutes of inactivity, it will get reset, but otherwise it won't. So basically everything that someone does within that session, which is helpful, right? I mean, it's definitely very helpful. So we can organize the events within that session by taking the session ID and then ranking the events within that session and creating like a data frame for each user, right? There are technically user IDs too. So the domain user ID, for example, this is just a randomized string that gets set. It's a first party cookie. It's not really so useful here because it will... So we're not looking at like people doing multiple sessions right now. We're just looking at like one point in time. But in theory, you can take the domain user ID or the network user ID. They're both first party cookies. One is a fallback, and you can model whatever you like. So if we have one session ID, maybe that occurs a lot, like this one. This is probably mine, to be honest. We can just look at this session, let's do an order by in here. Order by time hour. All right, and this is the chain of events. You see, the problem is here that we've already truncated the time hour, so it's not a good thing. We should probably leave that raw. We should probably leave it as raw as possible for now, because otherwise we lose that granularity. So we'll have event ID, and then we can have another timestamp in here. That's no problem. And we'll order by 3, which is the derived timestamp. So this is what this looks like, right? Basically, this is my session. These are each unique event. And here are the timestamps. So between 9:36 and 9:58 UTC, mind you, it's all in UTC. There's page view, page ping, link click. So I clicked the Calendly. Then I clicked another link, which was the Netlify app link, which I think that could be the lumens toggle. It's possible, but I don't think so. And I didn't click anything else. So that's how you could do that. And you could, of course, order it by 1 and 3. And then you would have, if you take out this domain session ID filter, you would have each filter, each session with all the events that happened. So we can see here, for example, this session here, this 4CA3C, started with a page view, and then some pings. And then there's someone here that did a session with a page view and then a ping and then 3 link clicks on an iPhone. So you can see, like, you can see the orchestration per session happening.
Michael? What are the odds?
I love how that got triggered for the song. That's hilarious. That's great. So you can see the orchestration. So here, link click Safari, Calendly CTA, and then clicking something else. It's maybe the second one. Thanks for the good vibes, Ian. Appreciate it. So you can do all this stuff. And visually, I mean, it's not super exciting yet. Let's be honest. Like, it's just a flat table for now. But what we can start to do is we could start to select this raw data, and we could say something like this. We could say we could say like domain session ID as session ID, and then, for example, count distinct event ID as events count, right? So we could already see here, oh, I need to group by. Always forget this. And you see here, we already have that. Order by 2 descending. Now, instead of showing this in a table, I can show this visually. Boom. Just like that. And the cool thing is, if some of you are going to the site now and still clicking around and using the site, this workbook is using the live data source. So Snowplow is still collecting all this data the whole time, and it will collect it for another 14 days until the trial runs out. And I will see which events, which sessions are really interesting to look at. So for example, this session here, this first one is very interesting because that had the most events. So it's like, I want to look at, I don't know, sessions by events count, for example. And I can put in between here, you can also put text and stuff. This is me writing some things while exploring my clicked data from Snowplow using a count BI workbook. Easy peasy, right? Now I can do another cell, and I can call this one deep dive active session. So I can go select star from raw data again, where domain session ID equals like this. And I can just look at this one for now and count, for example, each individual link click or each different type. So let's do like that. Let's break this down a bit more. So we'll do event name, and then we'll do count distinct event ID as events count. And this time I won't forget the group by. Group by 1, order by 2, descending. See? So this person had 39 page pings, 6 link clicks, and 3 page views. Or this session, sorry, I should say. Sushi in the ooze bath. Indeed. That's a good drop. I think you're probably pretty safe there, noob. Yep, you're safe. Good job. So now if I'm interested in just the link clicks about what they were, then I could say event name and then target URL where domain session ID and event name equals link click. Easy. Target URL doesn't exist. Oh, I renamed it. My bad. We didn't need to rename it, but yeah. So you can see here, mostly it's a link to the CTA. And some of them were clicks to this. Now, if I'm more interested in something different, like which links were clicked, links clicked overall, I can do a complete opposite thing where I just do select star from raw data and I do link click target URL, and then I do count distinct event ID, and I call it as events count or number of clicks, for example. And that's great because the data isn't pre-modeled in any way. Oh, group by again. That's bad. That's twice now. Because this data isn't modeled in any way, right? I'm not taking any decisions at the time of collection about kind of restricting myself to a certain type of data output. So I can see here, there were a lot of clicks that happened that didn't have a click target. Those are most probably clicks on empty elements that validate as a link but don't have a target URL. So visually we can see, let's take out the null ones where link click target URL is not equal to NA. So we can see most of them are clicking to Calendly or to Netlify app, which I don't know which one that is. Some people click to Polywork, some people click to my YouTube channel, and some people click the hash, which I don't know what that is either. And this underlines the importance of needing to collect the data in the right way first. We did like the lazy approach. We just put in the code on the site, right, and expected everything to come out in like super easy readable format. That is not going to happen. Okay, look at the code of this page, right? No matter what tool you use, whether it's Snowplow or something else, okay, and I'll be honest with you, Snowplow isn't paying me to say that Snowplow is amazing. I think it's a very good tool, but no matter what tool you use, if this ID is called Calendly CTA, it can only pick up what's in there. Unless you give it more information, it's not going to be able to do that. Now, if you go up to something else, like, I don't know, something in up here, like this toggle, right? Where was that? Basically, this toggle up here, right? Lights toggle. If we don't specify any actual any actual event on that, if we don't specify anything that should fire, then all it's doing is clicking an input checkbox, which by default is not going to send an event anywhere. It's not a form submission, right? So we have no chance to know that anything happened there. And this is basically the gist of using Snowplow. Is you need to decide on a tracking concept. You need to come up with a plan about what things you're going to measure and what things you will not measure. By default, Snowplow will collect things like link clicks and page views and stuff, but those things are not super useful. You can see here in this workbook now, we are quite limited in what we're able to find out. It's okay, it's not like super bad, but we are quite limited in what we're able to find out. We could also look at what was the most common browser OS. So we do select star from raw data. And here I would count session IDs instead of events, right? Because I don't want to say a browser is more popular based on more events that they send. I just care about session IDs. So I'll take something like the agent name. And you see you get suggestions here too. It's quite cool. Agent name and then operating system. Operating system name. Version. No, it's called something else. Name version major. That's the one. Ooh, headless Chrome. Interesting. Okay, so we do here, we do... we don't need a distinct, we're gonna count anyway. Count distinct domain. Oh, we already renamed it to session ID. Okay. Group by 1, order by 2. We need 2 groupings here actually. Order by 3, descending. So the most common combination. Really? This is strange. Didn't we rename it? I thought we renamed it. Oh, we didn't. Whoops. My bad. Domain underscore session ID. There we go. So the most common combination was... Why is that? Aha, yeah. Chrome Windows 10. Chrome on macOS 10. Edge on Windows 10 was 2 sessions. Safari on macOS was 2 sessions. And Firefox on macOS 10 was 1 session. And there were a couple others here. There was a headless Chrome and there was one on mobile as well. So everyone who visited the site, thank you very much. I think I want to check if my website's working again, which it's still not. So I would like to end on that note today. We basically did this kind of use case, this content analytics, right? So you can go really far with this kind of content analytics model. You can go much deeper than just looking at operating system and stuff. You can look at what type of elements were interacted with. This is like the whole field of content analytics or product analytics, where you can really figure out what type of either UI elements or what type of content on your site or product is being consumed. And that's super important in a lot of contexts. I mean, basically, Netflix's entire product is based on this because it drives personalization. Based on what you click, what you watch, how long you watch stuff, it's based on all that. Thank you, Ian, for the good vibes. I appreciate it. And so I would like to end on that note today by saying that with something like Snowplow, the possibilities are literally infinite. You can really come up with anything that you want. And as we saw, getting this actually running is super quick. Getting it running for real, like in your own environment and stuff, is not complicated at all. It's really not. The documentation is there. Good job, Steve. You were first again per hour. And I think it's a great piece of software, and I'm not saying that because they sponsored me. I have this t-shirt, this Snowplow t-shirt I have since 4 years. Actually, it's 4 years now that I have it. I think that what they've built is amazing, and let's not forget it's open source. Okay, their core software is open source. 90% of all the stuff that they have is open source. They have a few proprietary things, but those are moving towards open source as well, medium term. They have such a mindset to just offer all of this knowledge to everyone that I I totally believe in that. That's why I'm here on Twitch telling all of you about this on a Monday night, is because I feel like sharing knowledge is important. And they seem to believe in that as well. And it's really great that they, you know, reached out and thought it would be a great idea for me to demonstrate what it's like to actually try Snowplow in a live demo, in a live environment. And I think it went pretty smoothly, apart from the fact that my website is crap. But other than that, I think it went pretty well. So you can hook up anything to that Postgres database that they set up for you. Of course, when you run it yourself, you can put it wherever you want. You put it into Snowflake, you can put it into GCP. You could technically also copy it from one of those environments into somewhere else as well, somewhere like a custom MySQL database somewhere. But you can look at all of that in the documentation. Then, like I said, their documentation is pretty good. Like, I've seen a lot of bad documentation. Yo says, thought it was interesting. I'm glad it was interesting. Of course, the video is going to go up on YouTube in a few days. With all my VODs, I'm a little bit behind, but I'm going to get to those later this week. And then you'll have a chance to, you know, review it or send it to other people that you think could be interested in it. Ultimately, collecting data is important. We should always collect data that we feel is necessary. And yeah, on that note, I would end things. And Steve enjoyed the stream and learned about something new. Thank you, Steve. I always learn about something new on your streams as well, like about engineering and software quality, which I don't know much about at all. And I'm happy to have all of you here. I think it's great. What's the plan for sort of the next coming weeks? 10th of December is going to be my stream anniversary, 1 year on Twitch. And we shall be having a 14-hour marathon on Free Code Camp with with an entertainment schedule mixed in, because I cannot entertain you for 14 hours straight. Thank you, Ian, for your lovely comment. I'm glad that you always look forward to Mondays and Fridays. It's great that you always look forward to Mondays and Fridays, but is that because of me, or do you by default always look forward to Mondays and Fridays? Because it's like the beginning and the end of the week or something. I don't know. That could also be. I'd like to thank Swisslobita92, MVD Dev, Colfon La Fefe, and Alfoiduran for the new follows. I appreciate it. Ian and Coil and Nimibi, thank you very much for the bits. It's very appreciated. And thank you to Dr. Dynamite for gifting 2 subs. I believe that was to Nimibi and Sad Salami Rose. Paolo and Dr. Dynamite and Irish Beats, thank you as well for your subscriptions to the channel. It's very appreciated. Noob, day after before some Noob also streams soon again. Oh, we're looking forward to that, Noob. Noob's been on a little bit of a break, which is totally fine. We all deserve a break sometimes for various reasons. I took a break a few weeks back too, and it did me loads of good. Loads of good. So we are going to go on a raid. So don't leave. We are going to go raid a friend of the Claw. Not a streamer from the Claw, but a friend of the Claw. We're going to raid Asan. Code with Asan. Does coding on stream, as you can imagine. Very cool and upstanding guy. So do say hello from me. And I hope you enjoy your time with Asan. And see you all on Friday. Bye-bye and thank you. Bye-bye.